Welcome to the Indian Gaming Association's The New Normal webcast. My name is Lisa Johnson. I'm the conference manager for the Indian Gaming Tradeshow and Convention. I'd like to share a few housekeeping tips before we get started. Everyone is muted by default except for our speakers. If you have any questions during the presentation, please type them into the chat box and they'll be brought up at the end. Now, without further ado, I'd like to introduce Victor Rocha, conference chairman of the Indian Gaming Association.
Thank you, Lisa. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the New Normal, your go-to source for insightful discussions on the gaming industry and critical issues affecting Native American tribes across the United States. I'm Victor Rocha, and joining me is my co-host Jason Giles, Executive Director of the Indian Gaming Associations. You know what? We're supposed to have Chairman Stevens here. He is currently in transit. As you may or may not know, President Carter just passed away. And Chairman Stevens' father used to work in the Carter administration. And I remember once we were leaving a show, probably San Diego or somewhere else, and Jimmy Carter was on the airplane. And I guess he has this thing, he used to have this thing where he used to shake everybody's hands on the plane. And I know Chairman Stevens had that happen to him, and that was a pretty big deal, and it means a lot to him. So, being the beautiful, respectful person that Chairman Stevens is, he's probably standing in line in the rotunda right now. But Jason says he's on his way in, right?
Yes, he'll be here.
So, is
And
it big? Is it over there? You know what? I saw something in the
well,
newspaper, and they said there's like 100, I mean, freezing, below freezing, and people are still standing in line.
right. Yeah, though I think the weather's knocked down some of the uh you know, like Ruth Bader Ginsburg's was the last big one I can remember, where you had to wait hours in line. But definitely this winter storm here knocked down a lot of the attendance, and they actually had to delay the viewing by a day to get his body in here. So
Wow.
it's Victor, you don't have to, I guess. I'm glad we can see you. Is any of that smoke coming down your way?
I live too
We
far
have to
from that.
worry
That's
about
by the
snow that'll
coast.
be gone here in 2 weeks, and you guys got
That
five.
looks bad. Listen, that's Pacific Palisades. That's where all the rich people live. You know what I mean? That's like
Uh,
the people who don't live in Beverly Hills and want to have an ocean breeze. That's where they all live. It's just filled. It's expensive homes and stuff.
yeah,
And we've when you live in California, I live in Temecula, which is inland, and we have these. There's a big canyon between Pachanga and Paula, and every 20 years that thing catches on fire and burns everything in the middle. Yeah, but once
right.
that happened, and my wife and I were driving through, and so I've actually driven in my car surrounded by fire on both sides, and it's pretty scary.
Yeah,
So we're wishing all them. But anyway, listen, we called everybody here to order. We want to thank you for being here because we're going to be talking about our agendas. So, what exactly agendas? We're talking about ICE Barcelona is now online and it has been updated. And by the way, on inauguration day on January 20th, we will be in Barcelona. So we'll let you know. It's always interesting to be in Europe while these major events happen in America because it's always the discussion, and you realize, you don't want to be self-centered and think everything revolves around America. But when big events like this, inaugurations, massacres, stuff, school shootings,
right.
fascinating place to be in Europe while one of these things goes down. To get an interesting perspective. So we'll be there. Speaking of, so ICE Barcelona begins on Monday, January 20th and goes to the 22nd. So that's Tuesday, Wednesday. It's also, they have the opening events on Sunday. Dude, I don't think I pulled the agenda. Oh, yeah, I do. That's going to be really interesting. I guess the opening is at the museum, the National Museum, in Barcelona on Sunday. The exhibitions and the trade show opens on Monday. Excuse me, the event was on Sunday. The Everything World Regulatory Briefing, the Casino Leaders Conference, ICE exhibition, and then on Tuesday is when our events go. Now, we were given, I think, about 3 hours from 1:30 till 4:30. It's a new event, it's a new space. Everyone's going to be looking for us. I think basically they ran out of space at ICE, and that was kind of their big issue in London. And then the other big issue was because of Brexit. A lot of people were just like, you know what, it's difficult for us. Let's just keep it here in the EU. And so that's why we're in Barcelona. For us, it's interesting. It's a new event, a new space. I've been there before. I've been to that place before. It's massive. They say it's been expanded since I was last there. Um, one of the other reasons that I wanted to talk to people is I want to know who's going, who's attending. We're going to have a mixer. We're probably going to have, I don't know, maybe I can convince somebody to pay for alcohol when we're done. We can have a little mixer after we're done. So that's the first time anybody's heard of that. So I don't know if we can pull that off. But listen, we're going to be there. And so let's talk a little bit of the agenda. Now, if you go into, hold on, let me move this stuff around. Excuse me one sec. If you go into the chat right there, you'll see there's two links over there. The first one is the link to ICE Barcelona, and you can see the agenda there. And let me get up there one second. I apologize. Let me. All right, I have it here right in front of me. Okay, as you see, so we start at 1:30, or as they say in Europe, 13:30. Is that what they call it, Jason? You were in the military.
Yeah, exactly.
Chairman Stevens will be just giving a welcome. The first event is called now. To me, as the conference chairman, all these events are new opportunities for conversations, and that's kind of how we took it this time. I wanted to. It was a new event. We're on the far side. You have to walk. We're on the hall 5. So you really have to find us. So I thought, I better make content that is interesting and have conversations that make people want to walk through this massive new space and find us. So what we're doing is a thing we're calling the Tribal Partnership Seminar, and basically talking to the global market and saying, listen, here's what we're doing. I wanted to talk about interactive wagering. Let's talk about online gaming. Let's talk about sports betting. Let's talk about California. And in the middle of that, San Manuel, the leadership at San Manuel, I asked them if they would do a case study to talk about their success and what they're doing in California, and they agreed. So that's kind of what it is. So let's go through this one by one. So again, Chairman opens up at 1:35. We're having a thing called the Tribal Partnerships in U.S. Interactive Wagering, Unlocking New Potential. Now, this is going to be me, Chairman Stevens, and Denise Harvey, and basically talking to the European market and saying, look, this is our perspective on what the interactive market in the U.S. is happening. And I think looking at Florida, looking at Minnesota, looking at Washington, looking at California, those are going to be really good markets, especially California and Florida. So I think the tribes have a really important voice in what is happening in those markets. So I think, especially in California, especially in Florida, I think you could even add Texas in there. The tribes are involved there too. So, the tribal voice is important, and we wanted to look at new partnerships, bring in new people, bring in new ideas, and at the root of this, it really is um, the fact that the tribes have come so far in such a short amount of time that they should be looking globally now. If you look at the numbers for Mohegan and Korea, you would say, okay, maybe not. I don't know if you saw those numbers the other day, Jason, but
No, I didn't.
yeah, they're taking a bath over there. But listen,
Oh,
it's
I mean, is
Korea's a
that
tough market.
well?
You
I mean,
know,
how much of that? Well, I mean, that's a year long revenue, right? So it has
yeah,
nothing.
they just opened up. It's
Yeah.
for locals can attend. It's near the airport. It's supposed to be bringing an international crowd. They still have a lot of work to get
Mhm.
there. But it
It's hard
shouldn't
to
stop.
see that getting better with all the economic or political instability there with a guy trying to do a coup and
That was
trying
wild.
to
Did you
arrest
wake?
the president and they won't let him. And
That
so
was wild.
that's one of the risks you run when you go overseas, I suppose, is you better be in tune with the political stability.
Well,
And
you know what?
frankly,
Yeah, go ahead.
that's kind of what our purpose of going over to ICE is you know there's a lot of, I mean, our president, our incoming president is threatening our NATO allies, so there's a lot of they're wondering like, geez, what kind of market, and are there going to be tariffs? Are there going to be barriers to entry in America coming up? And that's
Listen,
one of
Jason,
our bets.
those are just details.
Yeah, exactly. But
So
you
what
know,
we're saying is we want a casino in Greenland is actually what what Jason is trying to say. In case you guys can't read between the lines, right? Is that what you're
well, I
saying?
mean, we can tell,
The Leif Erikson Casino or something like that. Is that what it is?
there's you know, free trade agreements, and regardless of what tariffs are put on and all that, there are opportunities to come into Indian country specifically and cut a trade deal with a tribe and try to, I know people have talked to the country of Turkey for a while to do things like that, and just the general interest from Europe itself, and in getting some of their products over here. Now, gambling for them, obviously isn't what it is for us, but I will say the way they regulate it, is a lot stronger than ours. Like you couldn't have, sweepstakes gaming just pop up all over Europe and start to, predominate and make money the way it does here. And you're starting to see less and less regulation around tech and AI in the US compared to Europe. But now, you got Zuckerberg coming out saying, we're just going to let it free flow, and whatever crap you want to post on Facebook is fine. And he says, too many people are interested in governments are interested in cracking down on free speech. And he was actually talking about, I thought, oh, well, yeah, China, but it's actually talking more about the European Union. So, there's
Well,
this
you
weird
listen, I think
balance.
instead of like it's an arm that goes like this. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm not sure it's a good idea. I'm used to this, you know?
Exactly.
So,
Well, I
right,
mean,
yeah.
those guys were, again, you want to come to Indian country, and if we can cut through a lot of that BS, especially when it comes to the gaming industry. And if you've got a good ideas in Europe that are specific to what we're trying to do on the reservation and surrounding areas, I think the opportunities there are more than ever. Because right now the commercial industry itself is sort of caught up in, where do we go next? How do we get stuff moving? And FanDuel and DraftKings came in with the intention of just, we're going to get our product out there come hell or high water. We know it's just fantasy football, but we don't care. Uh, well, now the sweepstakes guys are doing the same thing right beneath our very feet. And so we're going to have to, deal with all this stuff. And, I hope our commercial partners will start to speak out. Like if you're going to have a gaming community, we've got to start to agree on some principles here, and that's and move forward. And there's still so much of this country that's, the demand is there for entertainment, and we've just got to be in a position to deliver it, and deliver it fairly, and not, steal everyone's information, and use all the player information we collect for whatever purposes a lot of these companies would like to suck up the information for.
Do you remember when Google's motto used to be "Do no harm"? Do you remember? Do you remember that?
Yeah, yeah.
And I think one of the important things is that the tribes going to Europe, you can look and see the models that work. You can go and see new ideas, especially in ICE Barcelona, to see what the global market is doing. I think it's very important to tribes to think outside the box, to pull the blinders of the reservation off, to pull the blinders of your state off, and to get a really good idea of what the global market is doing. And when I first started going there 14 years ago, it was just me and the chairman of the Kanawakis there, the only two ponytails, and so now you see a lot more tribal people there. I think they get the message that, if you want to see where the latest gaming is happening, you have to come to ICE Barcelona. Now, to address kind of what you were saying, real quick is you're absolutely right. There does need to be unity in the industry and speaking out against black market gambling, illegal gambling, skill-based gambling, sweepstakes gambling. I think the entire industry needs to get together and do it. Um, um, I think there's a lot of talk there. I think it's very
Mhm.
important, but you can't go after sweepstakes.
Right.
And you know what, Jason, and it brings to a deeper issue here, and it's kind of an issue that I've been dealing with the agendas, is you can push out the sweepstakes, but then what? The California tribes need to fill that void. You know what I mean? I don't think 2028
Mhm.
is realistic. I think if you do it, it'll be something else. It'll be the crypto guys coming in. It's someone else going to be coming in.
Right.
So, are the tribes letting their opportunities slip away? Stay tuned on the way back for the next podcast. We'll be talking about that. You know what I
Well,
mean? So,
yeah, because that's kind of our duty to go over there and explore and see how these new technologies are being, like the AI in Europe is not the AI over here. Like they're not even letting it be rolled out generally to the public yet until they get a better grip on how it works. Seems fair, but also, they're missing out on a lot as well. A lot of innovation and that can put us in the lead here. But for tribes, uh, you know, AI might solve a lot of issues because we just don't have the people and resources in certain areas to fill jobs. And if AI can do security jobs, and you can save money that way, then great. If AI can do all your accounting, again, perfect. That's what a lot of tribes need. And I'd love for tribes to be on the forefront of this type of stuff. And uh, and I think we can because, frankly, we've always this Indian gaming industry has always been much more open to innovation. I mean,
we
we've
had
said
to,
it a
we
million
had to.
times, yeah, ticket in,
What?
ticket out. Everyone thought we were nuts. People like to hear those coins drop in a metal
Sure. Oh
container.
man.
Oh, I
Oh,
loved it, carrying around, three big 40
buckets,
things of yeah,
buckets of
bucket.
filthy
That was
coins,
so
those
much fun. Yeah,
filthy
I mean,
silver coins. You
oh
touch them, your hands would be all
yeah.
disgusting. And the filthy lucre. That's
Right.
what they call it, right?
No inefficiency in any of that. So I mean,
Yeah.
uh, but so that's where we can take all this and I'm glad, like you said, in London you still get a very sort of English centric view of things, whereas just hopping over to Spain and everything. I noticed, even just once you're in the EU itself, yeah, it is easier to get around and also easier to get in and out. I didn't really realize how once you land in London, you've got to go through customs and all that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, as a
And
matter of fact, I'm glad somebody said that if you do go to London and you transfer, you're going to you have to go through customs and then you go to the EU.
yeah,
It's not the same anymore where you can just, so I'm
right.
flying direct at LAX to Barcelona.
Holy moly.
Um, yeah, yeah. So I got a direct flight.
How many
It's
hours is that?
I have to fly the other way around the world to get there though. That's the problem. No,
Oh,
it's like 11 hours, 12 hours. It's a long
okay.
time. Yeah,
Damn.
it's three movies in a book usually, or I like a 6 hour nap and a
Yeah,
couple movies and stuff like that.
right.
But I mean, it's very important, and the tribes have come a long way, and it's wonderful to see them there. So we're taking advantage of this and saying, listen, here's what's happened in the United States. If you want to come to the United States, the tribes are looking for partners. We want to do partnership deals. We want to learn from you. We think you can learn from us. And so that's kind of what the incentive here with the agenda in Barcelona is. So again, the tribal partnerships and U.S. interactive wagering. Now, the second one is called opportunities and challenges in U.S. sports betting. Is there still room to play? And you know what? That was just me kind of being honest about this. Is like, have FanDuel and DraftKings and the rest of these guys sucked up all the oxygen out of the room, or is there still room to play? And I think, again, you look at California, you look at Florida, the answer is yeah. You know what I mean? There's still opportunity there. It isn't written. In Florida, you have to go through the Seminoles. In California, you have to go through the tribes. That's still to be decided. And I think it's an important conversation to have, and that's why we're having it. Now, that's going to be my friend Derek Watchman moderating, our Danielle, her many horses, our deputy executive director, and I have another friend coming on. We're waiting for confirmation. Um, so that conversation also is talking about the American market, and is it sewn up or is there still opportunity? And I think I have to be optimistic about it. And so that's kind of where that came from. Then we have a networking break at 15 minutes. It's a speed break, so it feels, again, we had 3 hours, so we don't have a lot of time. Then after that, we have Sam Manuel's going to do a case study talking about their journey from a little bingo hall to the big powerhouse of Southern California that they are. I think that's going to be a great presentation, and they're just really wonderful people. The vice chair, Johnny Hernandez, and Leticia Prieto, who's the treasurer, San Manuel, and also the chairperson of the San Manuel Gaming and Hospitality Authority. And then the final one is with Jason be moderating is the state of gambling in California, current trends and future prospects. And by the way, we will be talking about the future of gaming in California, the current status. We'll be talking about sweepstakes. We'll be talking, basically, I think that's going to be one of the conversations. First time we're really going to have that opportunity to have it in public, other than here, obviously, to have it in public. And so to have it in Spain is going to be very interesting. I get in a little early. I get in on Friday. Jason, I think you get in on Saturday. When do you get in? Friday?
Friday, yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm flying in
So
early too, man. I need a day to recuperate. I need a day. As soon as I get in, I go and eat, I go back to bed, and then wake up at 4 a.m. the next day or something like that. That's usually, but so that's what we're doing in Barcelona. We really hope to see you there. If you're attending, send me an email, victor@pachanga.net. I'd love to hear from you, let you know what our agenda is. We will be, I'm not sure how the advertising, so I think it is. I think we'll be sending out some emails and stuff like that too. So we look forward to seeing everyone in Barcelona. We're going to be back in Hall 5, which is I think there's like, if you look at it on the floor plan, you'll find Hall 5, and we're in the far corner. We're called the I'll tell you 1 second.
Yeah, we have a great setup this year too. And what Victor said, if you are going out there, we'd love to know who's in
ICE Center Stage.
Barcelona with us.
Yeah, it's called the ICE Center Stage in Hall 5. If you walk in Hall 5, it's on the far in the corner as far as you can get. Um, but it's a new venue. I've seen the pictures and stuff like that. It looks really nice. Chairs. There'll be food. There'll be refreshments. Not food, but there'll be refreshments, coffee, drinks, and stuff like that. So we won't be and then we'll see about getting some other stuff in there. Now, the other one is the session submissions for IGA. And as you know, IGA 25, we're in San Diego, March 31st, which is a Monday, to April 3rd, which is a Thursday. The session submissions actually end on Friday. I currently have 182 submissions. And, just to get an idea, let me give you a breakdown on this thing because it's actually, I find it fascinating. So, now remember, so we have 9 categories. Each category has 6 sessions. So, and we have 182. So for casino and gaming operations, we have 34 submissions. Economic impact 18, emerging trends 22, interactive wagering 7, legal tribal sovereignty 4, 29 for marketing and player development, 29 for regulatory and compliance, security and surveillance is 12, and 31 for technology and innovation. So as you can see, that's a lot of session submissions, and I've already reviewed all of them, and there's a lot of great ones. Um, I think the main thing I can say that, like I said, we have till Friday. Um, it becomes difficult when people submit sessions that are solo presentation because I've said this before. I look at public speaking as currency. and everybody wants to get paid. Everybody wants to get on that stage. It means a lot to them. I love when I get these submissions and they say, listen, I spoke here, I spoke here, I spoke here. Okay, you have a voice, people are listening to you. And I think that's very helpful. And I try to give as many opportunities as possible. So, I will only do about one or two solo presentations, and then I will a lot of people cover the same ground, so then I'll have to put panels together and try to get people and give them as many opportunities. So I'd rather see five people on stage than a person on stage, four people and a moderator. Because I think it's a better conversation. I think people can learn more. The presentations are, they're a lot difficult when you have this many submissions, and so usually what happens is as I go through this, I'm just trying to give it as much opportunities as possible to everyone. So, and that creates the hard choices. People who are associate members, people who bought booths don't get to speak or don't get their ideas in. And if you work for a company and you sent in five submissions and all of them are a solo presentation, that's just, I don't think you're doing the company well. Look, I get it if you're maybe the only person in it, but you're just kind of saturating after a while. I see him, I was like, well, how much time did you really, um, I try to figure out, that's not even that. I try to figure out what your priority is. So if you're working in cybersecurity and you have five of them on cybersecurity and stuff like that, I'll try to, you know, um, um, put them together and bring some more speakers and stuff. And sometimes it's uncomfortable. People don't like they don't want to do a solo presentation. They want to talk about this idea alone. They want to own it. And unfortunately, we just don't have that time or space. Now, that being said, that's kind of what we do on the trade show floor on Tuesday, on Wednesdays and Thursdays, is that we have kind of those space for those type of events where people can push their products. Now, that's the other thing. If you come in and you do a presentation, it's about a product, chances are you're not going to make it. And I get a lot of those where they want to it'd be a great idea if all the tribes in the world got together, da da da, and all this, and my product's going to do that. You know what I mean? And that's just not the space when you create an education track and you're trying to help people figure out what the next best thing is, regulatory stuff, security, the latest information. And so, we're within that context, you're able to talk about who you are and what you do. And I always tell people, if you want to pop, be brilliant. And I've always loved when I walk into a room and somebody's just on top of it and everybody notices. You can tell. You know what I mean? And so that's kind of where we're at. Just so, Jason, what do you think about all this
Yeah, I
stuff?
mean, Victor's right. The best thing to do is talk about your expertise and not so much your product. And that generates more interest and curiosity from people if you're up there just telling people what you know. And oh, by the way, here's the company I work for, as opposed to the other way around. And I think that's what we try to foment at our show, that, this isn't infomercial central. It's these are subject matter experts. So that's kind of what we're looking for in Barcelona, people in Europe that we can bring over and talk to folks about where
Good
gambling
point.
is headed. And that's really what we want to bring to the reservation, get these economies going, and sort of, the reservation economies, I think, are in a unique position here to insulate themselves from whatever happens with all the tariffs and everything else that are coming down the pike. It may be that this could be the tribe's opportunity to set themselves apart once and for all. And it's no different than, you have a state like Delaware that has no taxes, surrounded by high tax states. Set yourself apart, make yourself, attractive to come there and do business. And that's really what we're looking for. And that's part of the reason, that this organization was started, because, all the other social organizations that are geared towards much more important social causes, healthcare, education, things of that nature, it doesn't always fit with a purely economic enterprise. So, and that's Indian Gaming. And I can't wait to meet the tribal leaders at our show this year, and find out where they think their tribe is headed next, because there's a lot to unpack and discuss. I mean, Victor, the other part of this energy stuff that we're doing goes right into, I just saw again, uh, I think someone in the Middle East, not a Saudi, but they pledged to invest $20 billion in data centers in the United States. And
We have data center. Well, what
and
Jason's talking about is that we've created a new track at IGA in San Diego on energy, not necessarily renewable energy or green energy or clean energy, but energy in
right,
all of its facet as a business, data centers. Well, we'll be talking about renewable, we'll be talking about green, but you know, um, it's been a really fascinating journey for me to learn more about energy, and we're
mhm,
getting really good feedback on the agenda. So I'm really excited. I think we're on the right track. Also, digital play will be addressing, will be coming back, and we will be discussing sweepstakes, online gaming, and sports betting, and you know. We will be asking the tough questions and the uncomfortable questions. Are the tribes letting their future slip away with online gaming? Are we waiting too long? Have we waited too long? I think these are the kind of questions. I don't think I would be doing my job if I'm not asking tough questions.
right.
And that's the
Yeah.
space. That's why we have walls to contain it, kind of like a virus. Would be quarantined. You have to wear a mask to go in there. No. So, I think it's very important to ask these questions. Look at the partnership deals. Look at access deals as opposed to, owning your future instead of licensing it away and what that means and stuff like that. But listen, we're also going to have the big guys in there talking about why they're good partners and stuff like that. So it's not just going to be us throwing rocks on the outside or throwing rocks, period. We're going to be having important conversations. That's why we're excited about the energy. And by the way, we're incredibly happy to be back in San Diego. So we're back next year, right, Jason? And then
Well, for the
Vegas
next
after
few
that,
years.
something like that.
No,
Next few years.
San Diego till 2028, and then I think in 2029 we have to go to Vegas for a year, but then back to San Diego. We're
And
trying
then
to
hopefully we'll
secure
never
San
leave.
Diego out to as far in the future as we can. It just helps with keeping costs down and everything else. I mean, hopefully San Diego doesn't have a fire problem like LA does, but I think they'll be
Yeah,
safe. Uh,
scary stuff.
Place for us.
Yeah, you know what? Listen, San Diego is our spiritual home. It's where, we have they said there's more Native Americans in California than any other state, Oklahoma included, because everybody gravitates. I also think there's more Englishmen, Welsh, and Scots in California too. So everybody gravitates towards there. It's,
Right,
it's it's a beautiful place, and everybody, listen, whenever we go somewhere else, everyone says the same thing. When are we going back to San Diego?
right.
So we're back. It's easy to get to from the airport. The hotels are right there. There's great food. What's not to love about San Diego? And again, we're going to be talking about California online gaming, sports betting, the casino floor, business. We're it's going to be a good show. We have a lot of great submissions. So you know what? And listen, I just wanted you guys to know that we have 2 more days before it closes to get your ideas in there. I know that's insane for me to be saying that when I've just reviewed 182 submissions, but I want people to know. I want to get those ideas. The more ideas I have, the better show that we can put on.
Mhm.
And so, and let me see if I have any more questions and stuff like that. So again, I think that's about it. You know what I mean? Again, the themes are about casino gambling operations, economic impact and development, emerging trends, interactive wagering, legal and tribal sovereignty, marketer player development, regulatory compliance, security and surveillance, technology and innovation. I'm seeing wonderful things like class two mobile, class two on premise. I'm seeing a lot of really good ideas out there. And, we have an industry of brilliant people, and it's just real. It's a real honor to read everybody's submissions because there's some really good ones, and there's some real nutballs out there too. So it's always amazing the people who don't know how to follow instructions. But let's say, you know what? But it's always been like that. There's always people get excited. It's like, oh my God, I got to get my product in front of the tribes, and then they just lose their mind.
Right.
And but we're used to it. You know what I mean? I appreciate all of them, except at the end of the last show when I threw out the guy who said he was Mickey Rooney's son. Remember that
Oh,
one in Anaheim? So hopefully
right.
that guy doesn't show up again. And I think that's it. If there's any questions, I think we're about done. We did 30 minutes. So basically, listen, well, hopefully we'll see you in Barcelona. If you're going, let us know. We want to know who's going, who's going to be there. And then submissions end on Friday, which by the way happens to be my birthday.
Oh, wow.
Uh, yeah, it was just, we got one Q&A. And then Ernie again, Scott Hill. Hey, Scott. Can we please meet up at ICE Barcelona? Hoping to meet Ernie again. I can't guarantee that. He's elusive like the Chimera or Bigfoot, you know. And let's see what else. I guess that's it. Welcome to 2025. We have a new president coming online. That's one of the issues we will be covering excuse me, IGA 25 San Diego. What that means. I think we're all interested in what does that mean for indie country? What does that mean for gaming? You're seeing a big push into crypto financing. So what does that mean for you're seeing Wall Street start moving in that direction now. That seems to be a green flag. What does that mean for gaming? What does it mean for the industry? What does that mean for tribal gaming? We will be asking and we will be answering. So keep the ideas coming in. We appreciate it. Okay. Any more, Jason? That's it,
No,
right?
that's it. I think that's great. Looking forward to seeing everybody. Will we be on next week? Next Wednesday?
No,
Yeah.
I
I
don't
don't.
know. What do you think? I leave on Thursday. Will we? You leave on Thursday
Yeah.
too, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
I guess, you know what? We'll think of something. I'll let you know soon.
Okay. So,
You see me trying to get out of it?
hey, we're January 20th is our new year. That's when we start the year in earnest. So
Oh my
get
God,
back on
yeah.
schedule.
There,
Get the inauguration over with and get a new Congress in here
are
and
your
start
kids in
working
school?
again. Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, well, they haven't been in school since the winter storm, but yeah, they had another day off. But yeah, they're supposed to be back at school. So
Wow. We
yeah,
have fire day over here. Nobody's going to school. No, just
yeah.
kidding. No, just kidding. Everyone's back in school. So, all right, everyone, listen, thank you. We'll
Okay,
probably will see you next week to talk about, gosh, there's so much to talk about. Maybe we'll talk about the incoming administration or something like that. I think that
right.
would be very helpful. So, all right, everybody, thank you
Okay.
very much. We'll see you guys next week. Okay.
Thank you.
Bye.
Take care, guys.